Welcome back for another edition of the Central Texas High School Football Webcast. The 10 most exciting minutes you'll see on Central Texas football. Okay, not really. Actually, we've heard a review that we're the PBS of Sports Center. But let's begin. Great games last week, guys. Let's talk a little about last week. Just things that are on our mind. What struck you from last week, Rick?
Well, for me, it's 14-5A, how close the teams are. Even though teams like Stony Point are 0-4, it's still an extremely close competition between the 8 of them. Leander beats Stony Point, the last-minute field goal, and Cedar Park beats Pflugerville. 65-yard touchdown pass in the last play of the game. Very tight games.
That 14-5A race we've been looking at all year is, how's that going to end?
I think that we see the separation now. I think you got the 4 teams that are on top might stay on top, and the 4 teams that are on the bottom might stay there too.
Yeah. Well, how about you? You were at the Austin High game last week.
I was at the Austin High game.
Choke job, not choke job.
No, not choke job. Did they have a chance to tie the game at the end? Yes. Was Seguin a better team? Yeah, Seguin was a better team. Seguin had a little more speed, and Seguin was a little bit more balanced than Austin High was. I mean, Austin High is a great team, but I came away very impressed with Seguin.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about Seguin when we come back from our break, when we name our player of the week and hand out some game balls. Well, it's time to hand out some game balls, name our player of the week. We decided to mix it up a little bit this week and give these awards out to some players that we don't always talk about every week, the Chase Riches and the Garrett Gilberts and the Josh McKinleys. So I'm giving my first game ball out to Dentre Washington from Bastrop, running back, rushed for 328 yards, best single game performance by a running back in at least the last 3 years.
Where did this guy come from? I haven't even heard of him this year.
From Bastrop. But he has been good. He's been good all year. He wasn't a one-week wonder. He's been rolling up yards, but we just don't hear a lot about him, I guess, because he's not in one of those top teams in that district. How about you, Rick? Game ball?
I've got a guy I'm sure you've never heard of because I had never heard of him until today. Hunter Callis, and he's from LaGrange. I have never heard this in a major high school before. He scored his teams all 32 points in a 32-31 victory. He scored them all. He had 4 touchdowns. He had 2 field goals. He had 2 extra points. He rushed for 249 yards, and he blocked an extra point in the fourth quarter that prevented the Caldwell from tying the game. Hunter Callis gets my game ball.
And a great name, too. You were at the game where our Player of the Week was produced.
And I would be willing to put up my Player of the Week against either 2 of your game ball guys one-on-one because my guy is Marcus Richardson, Seguin's linebacker, and this guy is all over the field on every single play. 16 tackles, 1 sack, 2 forced fumbles, and also recovered a block kick and ran it back for a touchdown. I'll tell you what, this Seguin defense was so good. It looked early on like Austin High wasn't going to score at all. Somehow they got things rolling, but you're talking about a very fast Matador defense, and that's led by Marcus Richardson.
We'll talk a little bit about that Matador defense later, I think, when we're going over our game picks. But Richardson going to Oklahoma State, so he's a big time. All right, when we come back, we're doing our interview. Rick's going to talk with Patrick McGettigan, St. Michael's quarterback, who's been lighting it up this year.
Welcome back to the Central Texas webcast of the week, and we have a special guest star this week. It's Patrick McGettigan, senior quarterback for St. Michael's Academy. Welcome to our webcast. I know that this is a first for you, but it's a first for us this year too. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
The thing that pops out: 20 touchdowns, 1 interception. That's amazing at any level. What do you attribute your success to this year?
I think playing the spread offense for 3 years now has helped. Every year it's gotten easier and just easy to see. This summer did some 7-on-7 stuff. Just comfortable with it, comfortable with the offense.
A lot of people watching may not be that familiar with the private schools, but are they different in any way in the competitive nature of the game?
No, it's still football, still fun, still really good athletes on both sides. Some D1 prospects on either team, so still the same thing, I would say.
Do you like the fact that you are a big fish in a small pond kind of thing?
Yes, it is. I mean, sometimes people doubt whether you can compete at the bigger level, but I'm confident in what private schools can do and what I can do too.
Speaking about private schools, I understand that you were thinking college back east, maybe at Princeton, maybe at Georgetown. What would lead you that way?
Good education, too. Good football. I think I can compete at. I like the environments of both the schools too.
And you've been to Georgetown recently, right?
Right. Visited a few weeks ago to see a game, so it's good.
What other sports do you play here at St. Michael's?
Basketball and tennis.
I can understand the basketball part because you're 6'1" and you're probably a good rebounder.
Right.
But I understand that maybe you won't play basketball this year. Is that because of the football career?
Possibly, yes.
Yeah, you don't want to get hurt
Focus
now.
more on football.
Getting back to St. Michael's real quickly, goals for the rest of the season. You're obviously doing very well at 5-2. Team goals, first of all.
Playoffs. We haven't been to the playoffs in a while. We have district coming up against Beaumont Kelly this week, so see if we can get a win.
Has anything surprised you about this season, the way it's panned out so far?
The way people have come together, it's been good. Program, you can just see it building, going in the right direction. So.
Well, thank you again for joining us. This is the first time we've had somebody from the private school be with us, and best of luck to you in the future.
Appreciate it.
Patrick McGettigan, big-time quarterback.
We were talking earlier today, guys. Hard to pick a game of the week because there's 5 really good matchups in our area this week. But we're going to settle on 3 of them for this week's picks to talk about. Starting off at the top, Westlake at Seguin. Obviously, Austin High's loss last week opens the door for this district. You're a Seguin backer now, are you?
I'm going to go with Seguin. I think that they have a little more speed, a little more athleticism than Westlake, and I think that they are going to hand Westlake its second district loss, which, I mean, that'll be kind of shocking.
Yeah, it will be shocking, actually. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm going to stay with Westlake for a lot of the same reasons that I have liked Leander in 14-5A all along. They were their favorite going in. Until that title is taken away from them, I'll stick with the Chaps.
I'm going to surprise you.
Tie?
No. No, it will go overtime. No, I'm just playing. Seguin's going to win this football game, and I like the Chaps. They've got a good team. They've got a good offense, and I think they'll win a high-scoring game. With that said, I think Isaiah Sneed, who you saw last weekend,
yes,
the guy rushed 31 times. I mean, the guy is incredibly gifted as a running back. It may sound like an upset to most people, but they're playing in Seguin, and
absolutely, yeah.
This is going to be one of the biggest games probably in Seguin in 10 years or more. But I'm picking the Matadors.
All right. It's good to differ on picks. Let's go to our second game, possibly more differing here going on. Lake Travis at Connolly, 25 4A district title on the line.
Let me go first.
Rick, you go first.
Okay, I'm going to go first. I'm going to pick Lake Travis. I just think they have too much offense. Connolly has really improved. In fact, from week 1 to week 7 now, I think that they're maybe the most improved team in town. But Lake Travis, they've got the skill on offense. Garrett Gilbert is a fantastic quarterback. They're rolling right now. And I think Connolly obviously will make the playoffs, but I think this is Lake Travis's game.
I'm going with Lake Travis, too, for everything he just said. But I think actually Connolly's been having a little bit of a tougher time, and they have been improving, but they've I think still are looking to find themselves on offense. Defense has always been good, and Lake Travis, offensive machine. I like Garrett Gilbert. I'm going to pick the Cavaliers here.
Lake Travis.
Oh, I thought you were going to comment.
Moving on.
Moving on. Okay, last game, we're going to go with Cedar Park at Westwood. Juicy matchup, Cedar Park, Westwood.
Is Tyler Smith back? Do we have a wording? Do we have a...
He's being checked out this week. He's got the knee injury, as we all know. And the thing about them is they've got some real good players that are backing him up. They're not as good as he is, but they're really good backups. With that said,
But the quarterback also is hurt
the
as well.
quarterback
Yeah.
was hurt, but their second string quarterback was just as good as the first. And I'm going to go with Westwood. A little bit of an upset. Cedar Park is undefeated, and they are just barely hanging on in a couple of these games. And Westwood, they'll be playing at home, and they've got that great aerial attack. I'm going with Westwood.
I'm going with Westwood also. I think Cedar Park is really scratched for these last 2 wins, Stony Point and Pflugerville. And Westwood on a roll. I like Westwood.
Do you guys mind if I walk the fence here?
No.
If Tyler Smith plays, Cedar Park wins. Tyler Smith doesn't play, I'm going with Westwood. So you're going to have to find out later where my pick is going to be on this game. But I think Tyler Smith is a difference maker. There's no one else like him on that Cedar Park team, and he makes that offense go.
Yeah, let me amend an earlier pick too, Westlake Seguin. I think if Westlake scores more points, I'm going to go with the Chaps.
Okay.
So we'll find out on Friday night.
Wow.
But if Seguin scores more points, I'm going to go with the Matadors.
If
Are we
Westlake
good with that?
scores more
I'm
points,
okay with that, actually.
if Westlake scores more points, I'm still going with Seguin.
Okay.
All right, Captain Sarcasm, end this thing.
All right, Thursday in the paper, our picks come out. Before then, though, you can log on to statesman.com/pick'em and match your wits against these 2 guys and mine and pick your winners for this week's games. If you do the best out of everyone online, we will use your picks next week in print for our 5th guest picker spot. So log on, pick, and win.
You've always liked Westlake.
Not as much as Alan.